Okay, guys, it has been a long time, but in the last class, we were discussing this program. Uh, if you remember, just a quick review, we know this symbol, right? Hash symbol, right? What is this? It indicates a pre-processing, right? And basically, this include is one of the preprocessors, right? So it instructs some header files, right, to be included in the compiled program before it finishes the compilation, right? Similarly, here we can see there is another preprocessor with the keyword define, right, that is used to define something, right? Then something could be a constant, it could be a macro, okay, it could be a few other things as well. So what we are looking here is array underscore size is a constant value, right? Is a constant value. So that means, see the convention. If I say a variable, I will typically define it like say like int I, right? Uh, or say int roll underscore number, something like this, correct? But here the convention is something, if you are defining a constant, right, using hash define, then give it a capital letter with multiple words separated by underscore. Okay? Now this is a convention. This is a convention. There is a difference between a rule and a convention. If you violate a rule, that means you will get a compilation error, right? If you violate a convention, that will impact the readability and the code manageability. Okay? So here, wherever I will see array size, I will know that first thing it's a constant, and it's talking about the array size, the maximum array size, and this wherever it appears throughout the program, this array underscore size in capital letters, right, that will be replaced by the value it is assigned, 5, right? Now it is easy to change array size later. Why? Because this array size I might have used at too many places in the program, or if that's a large application, I might be using it at 1,000 places, right? But if I just change a value over here, like for example from 5 to 10, everywhere wherever array size is being used to fix the maximum size of the array, everywhere that is changed to 10. So the place of change is fixed to 1. That means I will make a change at one place, and the change will occur everywhere where I have taken the array size as the maximum size to define the size of the array. Okay? So we have to that's the basic of the fundamental of any programming, good programming language, that you have to reduce the place of change to the minimum value, right? Okay? Duplicates are something which are not encouraged. Okay? For two reasons. This is just a declaration. Otherwise, there could be some code also. If the code is being repeated multiple times throughout the program, better move it to a small function, right? So that that function could be called again and again. What will happen? One thing is code duplication will be avoided. And what will happen when the code duplication is avoided? The place of change is just one function. If that particular code is repeated throughout the application at say 100 places, some logic is there which is useful, like a utility for some calculation or something, and that is repeated 100 times. And if there is some change in the logic, I will go and I will have to make track and changes at all those 100 places, right? If that is made modular, that means the smallest unit of module in a language is a function. If that is put in a function, those statements are put in a function, the place of change is that is just one function, right? Huh? You do not have to track down all the places where that code is duplicated, right? So if the duplication is avoided, that means the place of change is reduced to limited, say one or two places, whatever makes sense. Then changing that is easy to reflect the change throughout the application wherever it is used. Okay? So that is why here also in this case also it is written easy to change array size later. Okay? So let me just undo it for 5 itself, because uh, while understanding the smaller the size is, we can track down how the elements are moving. So we have seen this function, right? This is scan input function, and it takes an array, right? Array of what elements? See this function. This is the declaration, right? We call this declaration as the signature of the function. We call it the signature of the function, sometimes prototype of the function also, right? So we can know a lot about just by looking at this declaration, right? So what does this function says? Scan input. That means it is going to scan either from the keyboard or from the barcode or from a barcode reader or from some input devices, means some input devices for the input, right? So typically we are working with the inputs to the keyboard. So here we mean by keyboard, right? And what does it says? It is going to ultimately return a integer value after doing whatever it does. Okay? And what is that which is being passed inside the braces of the method? This is called as parameter. If there are multiple parameters, that will be called as parameter list, right? So this parameter is something which is given as an input to the function, and the output from the function will be something which is of the type integer in nature. Correct? So what is that is given as the input? There is single parameter, right? There is a single parameter. Even though the array may contain a number of values, but array itself is a single parameter, right? So I will call it single parameter. If this would have been like this, int size, like size of the array, this would be a two parameterized method. Two parameterized method that has got two parameters. I need to supply two parameters from wherever I will call this method. I will invoke this method. Okay? Correct? But here we have got just one parameter. And what is this parameter? This is square bracket indicate what? It's a it's a collection of elements, right? That is an array. An array. Okay? Array collects a number of elements, right? So that is why I am saying collection. Otherwise, collection may mean a lot of different things in different languages as well. Okay? Here I am talking about the literal sense of the word collection. Correct? ARR is the name of the variable. I can say ARR of, I can say int elements also, whatever I like. Correct? This is just a name, like just a variable name. So it's a variable name given to the array. So ARR is the variable name, right? And what is this int? Data type of the elements of the array. So this array will not contain anything except integer. I will not put a character inside it. I will not put a string inside it. I will not try to put a float inside it. Okay? I will just put integer numbers, right? Sorry. Yeah. In the parameter it is not declared, but from wherever it is called, it might have been declared over there. In fact, we have seen this function in the last class as well. Just try to recall. What I am doing is, the name of the function indicates what the function is going to do. It is going to get input from the user, right? So scan input is scanning for input. Int I am declaring I as some variable. Initially, it doesn't have some value. It may contain some garbage value, for example, right? Printf, I am printing a message on the console for the user to understand what I want actually. Enter, percentage d is replaced by array size. What was array size? 5. So here array size is being used to give the message enter 5 integers. Percent d is a placeholder, right? And that says it's talking about an integer value, a digit value, right? Array size is taking 5 value, which is a digit value. So this array size value 5 will be replaced at the placeholder percentage d. Enter 5 integers. And here I am particularly specifying the range. The number should be entered should be from -99 to +99, not -1000, not +1000, not 1001. Got it? And then backslash n means just go to the new line after printing the message so that the user can start entering. Then we have seen this loop, right? This for loop, right? Because we have defined the array size to be 5. So I am using array size here also to print a message. I am using array size here also in the loop, and you know what a loop is? It can do something again and again until the condition fails. Correct? Okay? Remember that video we have seen of a hotel where a genie comes and the chef gives instructions to cut ingredients, fry them, plate them, serve them. Do it again. Cut, fry, plate, serve, and so on until there is a condition the shop is closed or the restaurant is closed. So that until part is a condition. So here again it's a loop, and this loop contains 3 parts. You can see semicolon here and here, right? Just like you can see if these are two gaps, right? If these are two gaps in my finger, let me put it here. It's difficult. These are two gaps. So number of just assume the semicolon is this gap in between these fingers, right? So there are how many fingers? 1, 2, and 3. So there are 3 parts of this loop, for loop. One is this, then semicolon. Other is this, then again semicolon, and then again this. So there are 3 parts, right? Loop is called as for loop, right? The first part, I is equal to 0. Here integer I I've just defined, it could contain a garbage value. So I am fixing an initial value of I, that is called as initialization part. Initialization part of the for loop. I is equal to 0. Okay? I is just a bucket. I am putting 0 to it. Okay? I want to use I as a counter. 0, 1, 2, 3. This is how you increase counter, right? Then this is the condition, just like until the restaurant is closed. Until I keeps on increasing and becomes equal to array size. So until this condition is true, that is I is less than array size, it will be failing when I will become equal to array size. So until this condition is true, this is initialization, yani initial condition. Until this condition is true, keep on increasing I after doing everything what is in the body of the for loop. So where is this body? छोटा कर दूं. देखो for loop starts from here till here, right? Okay. Here till here. This is for loop, right? This is for loop, right? The body of the for loop. No, not this. Till here, I think. Here. This is the body of the for loop. The curly braces starts here. That curly brace, I think it ends here, right? This is the curly brace for if, and it ends here. right? So the curly braces that indicates the body of the for loop is this and this, right? So is it the right code or अच्छा something different? Okay, वो चार हो गया था ना उसके चक्कर में. Just a second, page number 50. Hmm. Sorry, here it is. Okay. So for loop body starts from here, right? Then if condition body starts from here. So we have two starting curly braces. Now the if condition curly braces closes here, and the for loop curly braces closes here, and this curly braces belongs to the function here, scan input function. That's the body of the scan input function. So you can see three nested curly braces, right? The uppermost and the lowermost belongs to the function. Okay, starting and ending. Similarly, the next and the lower next is meant for the for loop, and yes, and these two are for if within the for loop. So all these statements are the part of the for loop, and they will keep on repeating for I to start with 0 until I becomes equal to max size, or the condition I less than max size fails, right? If I say to my kid, if you turn 18 I will give you a bike, right? So that means he will not get bike until he is less than 18, correct? Correct. Similarly, the condition here says keep on repeating or iterating or doing the same thing over and again in the for loop until I is less than array size. And when I becomes equal to array size, just get out of this for loop. Stop whatever you are doing in iteration. Okay? And what's being done in the iteration is I am printing what? What does this slide indicate? A message. This is a message. As of now, this is in double quotes. You see? It's in double quote. So actually, array with a square bracket and the value of I, initially 0, then it will increment to 1 in the next cycle, then it will increment to 2 in the next cycle, and so on. This message will be printed with a colon. Okay? So in the first iteration, ARR of and the bracket 0 with a colon is printed first. The first thing. Okay? On the console. Then what happens? I'm checking for the condition. The scanf function reads from the keyboard, as you know, we have discussed in the last class. We are reading, this is what? This is the address, and percent indicates an address. So I am providing the address of ARRI. As of now, ARRI is at the index position 0, right? So at this position, I want to scan or read something which is numeric. And once I read that, I am checking, right, that the return message from the scanf should not be equal to 1, right? Or this is the or symbol, ARR of I whatever has been read should be less than 999, or ARR of I should be greater than 999. In all these condition, it would mean that I have read a value which is invalid, correct? And so I print a message invalid, use integer -99 to +99. ठीक है, and I will just return 0 because the function has promised that it will return a value 0. We have done a lot of experiment in the last class, if you remember, on the return type. If we do not return the value, what will happen in C language, right? With these compilers, right? I will upload that lecture. You can just go through it. Okay? So I will not repeat that thing. So if this condition fails, either of the condition becomes true. That means if the element is less than 99 or greater than 99, or this is not equal to 1. Not equal to 1 means the function is something which has given a value that indicates the value could not be read properly, right? If it is 1 means a positive value means positive 1 means basically this can a function returns of 1, that means it has read the value successfully. ठीक है? So or means either this condition or this condition or this condition, any of the condition becomes true, I will say the input is invalid and I will return 0 and get out of the scan input function. ठीक है? Once return is met, forget about the if, forget about the for loop, it just comes out of the function itself. ठीक है, बात समझ में आ गई भाई? Correct? If everything is okay, code will never enter to this part. ठीक है? That means neither the value return, if the value returned is 1, this condition fails, or value is between -99 to +99, these both conditions fails. Overall every condition fails. Any of the condition doesn't pass, code will not enter into this. Or का मतलब क्या होता है? This or means even a single of these three condition passes, the code will enter into it. That will be invalid input. ठीक है? If it would have been and double ampersand sign instead of or, then all the three conditions should meet at the same point of time to get into this code. But here in our condition, any of the three conditions are true or met, that means invalid input. If not, none of them met, then this code will never be entered and you will not see the message invalid input. The code proceeds. ठीक है? It returns a 1. That is indication of a success. ठीक है? That means I have read everything whatever is required and put in the array, and now the array is available with the caller and he can use it. ठीक है? Now again coming to the loop, for int I is equal to 0, in the first iteration what will happen? It will print ARR of 0 colon, and then if this condition is failed, that means I put a value say for 5 for example, which is between -99 to +99, right, and 99, then what will happen? That value is printf. Okay, I should have printed that value also, right? After this, no, ampersand is only given in scanf function when you want to read, because then you want to place something, so the address is given at that time only. Now for printing, just ARR of I. In printf function you will use ARR of I. In scanf function you will use ampersand ARR of I. Okay, just remember this difference. Okay, so whatever we have printed till here as a message, ARR of 0 colon, and then once it is read, right? Then that value is printed just after that, because we have not put backslash n slash n. We have not put, so new line will, it will not enter the new line. It will just print over there the value which has been read. If I have inputted 5, that 5 will be put, right? Now, once it comes here, it will go back to the for loop again, because loop means it has to iterate again and again. I would have become from 0 to I plus plus, mean I is equal to I plus 1. You translate I plus plus as I is equal to I plus 1. I minus minus, you will translate it to I is equal to I minus 1. Correct? Okay? So this is a shorthand notation. Instead of writing I is equal to I plus 1, I will say I plus plus. Instead of writing I is equal to I minus 1, I will just write I minus minus. Right? So I would have been incremented by 1. Okay? So I will become 1 now. Now there will be a condition check. If 1 is less than array size, which is equal to 5, condition is still true. The code will again enter into the loop. Now this time, what will happen? I become 2. The message ARR of 2 colon will be printed, and then it will be read, checked for the validity. Then that value will be, whatever has been read will be printed. Correct? It will go again. When it will go again, I would have become what? 2, 0, 1, and then 2. It will check again. If 2 is less than 5, again the condition is true. When the condition is true, it will enter into the loop. It will print ARR of 2, right? It will scan for the value. It will check for the validity. And then finally, if it is valid, it will print whatever value I have entered in the array, say 10, for example. It will go again. This time, I would have become what? 3. And then so on. Then 4. 4 is still less than ARR of 5, which is 5. ARR of 5, which is 5, right? Once it becomes 5, that means all the index position values from index position 0 to 4 has been read and placed in the array. So all 5 elements have been read. When it becomes 5, I do not want to read the value for index position 5, because that will be the 6th value, right? So this 5 less than equal to array size, which is again 5, will become false, because now it is equal. 5 equals to 5, right? 5 is not less than 5. Then this condition, this for loop will not be entered. This for loop will not be entered. I am done with reading all the 5 values starting from index position 0 to 4, right? In this array that has the name ARR, which holds the elements of the type integer. Correct? Done? Array is always a static array. Dynamic array, we say array as a dynamic array when we do not require to fix the size of the array. And here, if say for example the size is 5, I need to increase the size of the array. What I will need to do? I will have to create a new array, say for example of the size 10, copy all the elements of the first array which has a limited size of 5 to this new array till 0 to 4 index. Then from index 5 to 9 will be available for adding more elements. I will have to get rid of the first array, because I do not waste my memory. I no longer use it, right? So everything I will have to do on my own. Similarly, if I see that, for example, I have uh, at some time the array size has grown to say 1,000 value, right? And now it has come to under 100. So why should I waste those 900 spaces, right? So I will have to bring the elements back to some array which is of the smaller size. So in both the cases, this has to be done manually. That means growing and shrinking. If this has to be done manually and I need to fix the size for the array, that's called a static array by definition. Okay. So array in itself, which is defined in a language with a square bracket, that's always a static array. For dynamic array, there are something which the languages may provide to you. Okay. Correct? not only just we fix the size of the array, but the growing of the array and the shrinking of the array is also not automatic. We need to copy things and do it on our own. ठीक है? Clear है? That would have been a beautiful thing, that if we do not have to think about fixing a size 5, for example, right? We do not have to think of growing the array as the size increases, the elements come which are more than the size, or about the shrinking of the array, right? There are facilities in languages, okay? And when these facilities are provided, we call those kind of arrays as dynamic array. But the array which is provided just like a primitive data type, it's not a primitive data type, rather it contains primitive data type, but array is something which is provided as a support in the language itself. So this array is always considered as a static thing. It might be a different thing to reason that the dynamic array probably may be using this static array itself behind the scene and doing all those things on our behalf, so that we do not have to worry about it, making our life easier, right? So if you go for Java language, you will see something called as collections APIs. Here I am saying collection means something which holds a group of value, like a literal meaning thing. But their collection is something that is meant to represent certain classes, certain methods, certain artifacts, which are meant to hold different kinds of collection. Sometimes list, this is a list, array is a list of elements. Sometimes set, right? Okay, maybe a tree, okay. So that is what we call as a collection API, those artifacts, right? So that is defined over there. There you will find dynamic array. Even in C++, you have STL libraries. You can find dynamic array over there. Implementation is there. Okay. Here, if you want to do a dynamic array implementation, you have to write a function on your own. Okay. That could be done, but you have to do it on your own. Okay. Or maybe some libraries, third-party libraries provide it. We will have to just search it. Okay.
Case of condition, we have this logic that return one means code is right.
Normally, we assume return one means a success.
Return zero.
Zero, a failure.
So this is the case of condition. But generally in the main function where we write all our codes, after writing it all, why in the end we usually write return zero? Why not return one?
Why we write?
Return zero usually.
Why we write zero usually? See,
Return zero.
the thing is that it's a matter of convention, that what we assume about it. Okay? It's not, I told you there are two things. One is the rule and the other is the convention. So the value that we are returning, actually we are the one who are going to interpret it. Right? If we have created our own function, I will just say that my convention is any positive value is a success and any zero or negative value is a failure. So I do not need to mandatorily return a 1 itself. I can say return 5. Right? So that's my own assumption and my own sort of convention that I am following. Right? It's all about the convention. Otherwise, there is no hard and fast rule.
It's not a fixed rule that
No. As far as main is concerned, main is in control of something which is called as a runtime environment. See, for example, if I call this function scan input, that will be called from our main function, right? So we are actually calling it. So in that function, whatever convention we believe, we can put into effect, right? Or we can enforce that convention. But because main function is something which is called by the runtime, something which is responsible to run our program, right? So I will have to trust its convention, right? Or I will have to agree to its convention. ठीक है? Uh, you can do one thing after the class. Just search the return type convention in C language by main. ठीक है? You will get the idea. ठीक है? There is some history. They will tell you about the history also, why it is like so. ठीक है? Otherwise, it is nothing too much. गैस यहाँ तक ठीक है? फॉर लूप समझ में आ गया? यू एग्री विद द फॉर लूप? Okay. Okay, so we have seen just one function, right? And that is scan input function, right? And we have seen array size, which we have defined as a constant using a macro defined using a this preprocessor as a defined keyword as equal to 5 that is being used at multiple places. Okay, then see there is a sort array function. Okay, assume I am writing this code for the binary search, and I told you that there is no sense if I give the input of the binary search as an unsorted array, because binary search works on a sorted array. But for the sake of just for the sake of understanding, learning, and for making easy for our users, if they end up giving an unsorted array, I take the responsibility of sorting them as well. Okay? Yes, it is true. It will add to my computation time, right? My complexity, code complexity, in terms of time. But let me assume that I'm willing to do that. Okay, just for the sake of example. So this sort method actually this is going to sort array. Again, the array should be passed to this method so that it could sort it, and after sorting refill the same array with the sorted list. Okay, so the list is 1 5 3 2, so they should after this function is run the array should become 1 2 3 5. Okay, so sort array function does this, and so it is not returning anything, it's saying void. I will do with this array itself whatever I need to do, and I will not return anything. In the previous function, scan input function, we have a return type of integer type. Why? Because there are there is a reason for it, and the reason is that here we have got int, right? Scan input. For some reason there are three conditions, like I'm not able to read the value properly from the keyboard, that is reading is failed, or the array value that I am trying to read I have entered as a user less than 99 minus 999, say minus 1000, or maybe greater than 999, say 1005, and so on. In any of the conditions the validation fails, and I will have to tell that I am not going to read anything, call this function again. So in that case a zero return will indicate that something has one of the three condition has gone wrong, and the scan process is aborted. ठीक है? Otherwise I will print it and return one, that means scan process has been successful and the array has been populated, right? So there are two things being done in this function. One is the array is being populated. The other thing is that I am also uh, informing the caller of this function that whether I am able to completely scan the five elements or the array size elements into the array or not. ठीक है? ठीक है? So for the second function, just for the information purpose, I have used the return type int, because I am returning something, either 0 or 1. But here in this method, just look at the signature. It says void. It takes an array, and then it will sort everything whatever is in the array, put it back in the sorted order in the array, and it is not informing, because it is not going to read from the keyboard. It is not checking for the range of the values. Nothing can go wrong, right? All it needs to do is to just sort and refill the same array with the sorted value. So it's not returning any message which indicates a success or failure. So I'm not using a int type here. Okay, clear? Right now I will not discuss how this sorting is being done, the algorithm that is being used within the sort. Just assume, looking at the signature, once an unsorted array is passed to this function, it will sort and populate that array or arrange that array in a sorted manner. So the caller which has sent the array, once it is once it comes to the function and the function is done with its work, then it will have the original access to the array, and that will be the sorted array. ठीक है.
So if someone asks, when do you use void and when do you use int in a function, then we say that you use
Void means we are not going to return anything from the function, right? Neither integer, nor float, nor char, nothing. So we are not going to return anything function. Whatever we want to do in the function, the impact would be within the function itself. Like if this array is unsorted, I will sort this array and put the array elements in the same array. Okay? There could be a chance that I want to retain the original unsorted array and I want a new array which is sorted now. So that later on I can display both the things to the user. So in that case what I will do is I will pass the array, right? It is not going to touch this array, rather make a new copy of the array, sort the elements and return the sorted array. Then I will have a return type of integer array, return type of an integer array. ठीक है? Got the idea? Void means I'm not going to return anything.
there is asking is void a data type.
No, void is not a data type. It says that the return is void, that I'm not going to return anything. You know the literal meaning of void? Search in your phone. Literal meaning of void, VOID. See, every keyword comes on some meaning, right? If it has given a name, it must have some meaning, and that comes from the natural language we speak, right?
Meaning of hollowness. Empty or a
Emptiness, right?
yeah, empty space.
Empty space, right? Void means empty, something which is empty. So I'm not going to return anything. That means, in terms of returning something, I'm empty. Correct? I'm not going to return anything. That's it. Neither integer value, nor character value, nor any kind of value. So no data is returned back. So if something would have returned, there would not be empty here. Rather, the data type int, char, float would have been mentioned over here. Now here I am saying it's empty. That means because I am not returning anything, consider it as empty. Got the idea? Makes sense, Henry? You have to speak a little louder. Sort array.
He's asking is it a variable or a function? What is it?
It's a function. Of course, it's a function. See, how we declare a variable? It's like this, right? And when you see a function, there is a name to it, there is a bracket. We have discussed in the earlier classes itself. There is a bracket, right? It has a body, starting with the curly braces. And the bracket contains anything what it required to do something. Like to sort an array, it at least required an unsorted array, right? So it whatever it requires, that has to be passed into this bracket, parenthesis, right? And this indicates the body of the function. That means it starts from here and it ends somewhere here. So whatever it wants to do, it will do within those that body. So the body could be with the function. The body could be indicating any block like a for block, right? Or a if else block. So anything which contains a group of statements may have a body, and the body is indicated with the curly braces, starting and opening and ending of a curly braces in opposite directions, right? Does that answer your question? Okay.
Sir, so after sorting the array after being sorted, it's in the state, it's still in the same function or
It's still in the same array, I will say,
array?
because the array is passed by someone, the caller, and yes, that someone is the main function. So main function, whatever array it has passed, here in this case, because I am returning a void, something which is doesn't make any sense. I'm not returning anything. So the changes are done in this array itself. Okay? If this would have been an int array, something I would have written like this: int in small letters, of course, Now it means that if I am passing this ARR as a array variable, I could possibly make ARR sorted by the name ARR sorted, for example, and keep the sorted element over here without disturbing this array. So the caller, that is the main function, will have its original array intact, unsorted, and then here I am returning a new array which is sorted. So it will have both the copies in that case. Say for example, I want to display the student that this was the unsorted array, now this is the sorted array. So I will need both the copies, right? So in that case, I will have the return type like this. But in our case, I just wish to have a sorted array. I do not care whether the original value is preserved in the original array or not. I want just the original array to be changed itself. So I will say I whatever I want to do, I will do in the function itself. It will sort the array, put the sorted elements in the same array. The original function, this is the main function, the caller, has the reference to this array or has the handle to this array, which is now sorted, and will work upon it, right? And even I do not bother to tell about the success or the failure, because here I am not involving with the input from the keyboard or checking the ranges, everything. It's just the same elements which are placed in the array. I need to do something, put in the same array. So nothing I believe could go wrong. If nothing can go wrong, then I won't bother to inform the caller by returning a 0 or 1 value. So that is why void here. Got? Got
Are
it?
we printing elements are we printing something in this function? Void
No. We are just sorting.
function.
We are just sorting. From where we have called, probably there we will print it, because it is sorted into the same array. So I have access to the array, I can print over there itself. Okay. Now the logic how we are sorting it. This is a typical example of one of the algorithm which is called as bubble sort. Right? I will defer this discussion until the next class. Let's see the whole program first. So if you just see a function call with sort array and in which we are passing an array, just assume that this function is going to sort it back and give me a array, the same array, in fact not give me array, but the same array would be turned to a sorted one. Got the idea?
So this function automatically sorts the array. If you have an unsorted array, then this function automatically sorts it.
Can you repeat? Either you can come to the front or
They say if the function is sorted, this array will sort automatically.
yes. If the array is unsorted, this function is going to sort it automatically and put in the same array itself, which has been given to it in the same array. Like for example, see, let me explain again. I've got this bottle, or rather leave it. I've got a bucket, right? I've got a bucket, and there are balls with numbers 1, 2, 3, or a jar with balls 1, 2, 3, and I give it to Henry. That Henry, these balls are not arranged in an order, neither ascending nor descending. Take this jar with you, put the smallest number ball at the bottom, say the number of ball with the number 1 at the bottom, then the other ball with the number 2 on top of it, and so on as a stack, and give it back to me. So this is what is being done in this function. I am not returning, so he is not returning me with a new jar. He has done whatever he wants to my original jar. And that's my jar because I have given him to him. I always have access to it.
If you have given a new jar, it would you would use it.
If in case I would have given him one jar, right, and said him to sort it and don't disturb this jar, use duplicate balls, give me a new jar also, which is sorted. So in that case, I would have put a return type something like this, int, and then copied the element in this array which is unsorted to the new array which I will probably create over here, like this for example, int arr sorted is equal to ARR. I made a duplicate copy of the whole array. Now instead of using ARR, I will use ARR sorted everywhere, so that the sorted value is placed in ARR sorted, and then I will return ARR sorted. Now then I have got my access to the original jar which has unsorted balls, and then Henry gives me another jar, separate jar, which has got sorted. Okay? So that condition would have been like this. I am returning over here. And everywhere where I am using ARR, instead of ARR, I will use ARR sorted, because I will be working on the sorted array, new array with the name ARR sorted. Got Henry? Right? My purpose here is I do not bother to retain the original value of the or the original array, that the unsorted array, right? So I am saying that I am not going to return anything from this function, right? I will not bother to create a new array to duplicate it. Just do it on the same array because I already have access to that array. Once you are done it, whatever I have, that will be sorted array. Agree? Okay? So instead of dealing with this code, we will look at the code later on. As of now, you can assume that if this function sort array is called and an unsorted array is passed to it, then it will sort and give it back to me. Okay? Now to make it easy, let me just jump to the main function without proceeding further in the code. Let's go to the main function and let's try to see the two scan input and this sort array function, so that we understand with more clarity how the function are being called. ठीक है? ये रन करके मैंने पिछली बार भी दिखाया था बेटा, मैं फिर से दिखा दूंगा, पिछली बार नहीं आए होगे तुम, फिर दिखा दूंगा, पहले समझ तो लो. ये तो आपको लैब में भी यू हैव टू डू इन द लैब एज वेल, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट. In the last lab, in fact, Aman had a lot of questions about return type, and then we experimented a lot of things also. That recording is there. I will upload that also. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, so there is again a function called as binary search, right? It has got some code. How do we know it's a function? The name binary search is given to it. Whenever a name is given, whether to a variable or a function, that is called as, in general, it is called as identifier. What we call it? Identifier. So this identifies the function. Binary search. How do we know it identifies the function? Because it has a parenthesis. It has a parameter list. There are two parameters in the parameter list. One is an integer array. Why array? Because there is a square bracket. The name of the variable name of the array is ARR. Int indicates the element types in the array, right? Then int key, the key that we need to search through this binary search algorithm, right? So we give two things. One is the array, which contains all the elements, and the key that we need to search from that array. So we are passing this information what this algorithm requires, right? Correct? So we will come to this algorithm again. Let's proceed further. So this function is going to find, using the binary search algorithm, the key element that we are passing, right? Then display array, as the name indicates, it's going to display or print the array value whenever we require. Instead of writing our own for loop again and again, I have put it inside a function so that it can display any number of time I want. Okay? So display array will take a array inside the parameter list and will print every element inside the array. Okay? You can see it's doing nothing. It's simply going, it's printing a message array colon square bracket opens, and then a for loop that keeps on doing till array size is met, and it's doing nothing. It's doing printing. It's just printing the array of I, where I keeps on incrementing, just like in the previous scan input function. I will just print again. Okay, don't worry. Finally, the braces are closed, right? Then here is the main function that collaborates everything, right? And we know that main function is the first one to be entered. All these functions will not be automatically entered. The main function will be entered when we run this program, and from this main function we will call all those functions. Okay? So functions are like, suppose I distribute four students among this class for doing different things. I say one student is going to, what is your name? Huh? Hanan. Hanan is going to scan five or array size elements for me. Okay? So that is the first function. That is the scan input function. Hanan is the scan input. He is doing that thing, right? Then, uh, what is your name? What is your name, brother? What is your name? Harun. Harun is going to sort the array if the array is not sorted. Okay? So he is sort array. From today, his name is sort array. Then, uh, uh, Aman. Aman is binary search. I will give him array and I will provide him with the key to search, and he will use binary search to search it. Okay? Then we have got this display array. Uh, Henry is display array. Okay? That means he is going to take the array and display all the elements of the array for me. No matter how many times I want him to display the array, he will display me the array. I will keep on changing different arrays, he will display me all the array which are integer arrays. Okay? Right? So Henry is working as a utility for me. Right? And because I am asking you all to do this function, suppose I am the main function. I am main. Right? So what does main does? It creates an array with the name numbers of the size of the size 5, because array size is going to replace 5. So you have seen I have used array size a number of times, but I will just at the top of the program where I have used hash define array underscore size. If I change 5 to 10, everywhere it will be 10. One place of change. Okay? No code duplication. Right? Then, because I want to do a binary search, I have got a search key variable of type integer. I have got index to iterate over this array. Right? So the whatever I require, I have initially declare those containers for me. Right? Numbers is for storing 5 elements of integer type, of course. Search key is of the integer type that will store the element which needs to be searched into this numbers array, and then index is something which is going to control my movement for element by element into the numbers array, right? Now get safe input. Why get safe input? Because scan input function has got some validation. It should be the value should not be less than 999, should not be greater than 999. There should not be any problem while inputting, right? If everything is okay, that means safe scan is done for the whole array. Then I will get scan input function. Remember, it has got an integer numeric type. When the validation fails in the if condition, I had returned 0. If 0 is returned, then this exclamation mark is what? It's a not operator. Not. It is what a exclamation mark is what? Exclamation is not operator. Okay? So that means it will just do the opposite whatever I have received from this scan input. If I have received 0, that is a failure, it will make it 1. And when it will make it 1, I will print the message exiting due to bad input, return -1, because the main assume -1 as a failure, or rather the caller of the main, which is runtime, assumes -1 as a failure. That's his convention, not mine convention, right? Got it?
So can we say anything less than 1 can be considered become
Repeat again.
any number less than 1 can be taken as a failure for the
Okay, I believe any negative value is basically false for the main. Just to make sure, let me ask in front of you itself. Okay? We have to specify the language because every language may have different, conventions. In C language, the values of or the return values of the main function follows what convention. ठीक है, what convention. ठीक है, मेन के लिए क्या convention, what we have the convention for the main function, right? For rest of the function we have written, we have followed our own convention, right? For main, what is the convention? Let's see. In C language, if I say in Java language, it could be something different. In C++, it could be different, right? In C sharp, it could be different. Let's see what it says. So we get the answer right now. Because unless that is satisfied, I think you are not letting me to move further. Just a second. Internet gone. Okay. अब ये करने नहीं देगा. Okay. Close it. You can use any any LLM that you like. इससे पूछ लेते हैं. देखो, in C, the return value of the main function follow the standard convention defined by the C language specification. As I told you, when I create a function, I may follow my own convention. Fine with me. But now here for the main function, the caller is a runtime, right? So I have to follow the C language specification. So it is telling about the C language specification and the operating system environment, because the operating system also deals with inputs and outputs, right? The main function should return an int, and its return value indicates the termination state of the program, status of the program, right? Now, what is just meaning of return value? Zero means success. A non-zero value, whether it is positive or negative, it means a failure or error. Even if I write 1 or 0, no, or 1 or -1 or -5 or anything, even 100, that will become that will mean a failure. So only 0 is success. ठीक है? ठीक है? However, if something goes wrong, your program will terminate, right? The zero value or non-zero value, who is going to use it ultimately? The runtime. If runtime is not going to give you any message, then it's useless. For example, if you are using an IDE and the runtime is called by that IDE, then that IDE will read that value from the take that value from the runtime and may give a better message for you that something has failed or something has happened. ठीक है? Give a clear cut indication, right? So that makes sense actually. समझ रहे बात आप? Okay. Don't bother about it. ठीक है? It will keep on telling a lot of things probably we do not need at this moment of time because we have not reached to that point. Uh, so guys, Mr. Safe Input Hannan will just scan, and if the scan input value returned is 0, this not operator will turn it to 1, and 1 means a true condition. So if 1, that is if true, this statement will execute. If Hannan returns, scan input returns a value 1 for example, then it becomes 0 with the not operator. Then the condition 0 becomes means false. and then if false means this statement will not run. I will move on. ठीक है? Sort array. In sort array, I am not returning anything. Return the return type was void. You remember that, because I am not worried about any error. I don't see any condition where error could happen. So sort numbers. What I am passing numbers, and in the function, what the name is defined? ARR. Doesn't matter. It does changes on the number, but the original array is remembered here by the name numbers. The main function has got numbers. So whatever the change the sort array will made, the number will hold it for itself. Correct? Guys, it's the first programming language. Please learn it very carefully and very, you have to pay attention. Guys who are talking on the back seat, girls, the two girls, अगर आप लोग बात करेंगे, आप मैं बता रहा हूँ पूरे बीटेक बैच है ना, 8 सेमेस्टर परेशान रहेंगे. मत करो ऐसा. आई एम लिटरली ट्राइंग टू पुट अ लॉट ऑफ एफर्ट टू मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड. ठीक है? दिस इज द फाउंडेशन. दिस इज द फर्स्ट लैंग्वेज यू आर लर्निंग. इफ यू डू नॉट बॉदर, then you will just waste your all 8 semesters. Trust me. ठीक है? अगर आप में से किसी को आता है, अच्छी बात है. Then we will learn some advanced learning. Then you can come back to me, right? But for those who are not very well versed in the any programming language, who have not heard of any programming language before, right? They must pay attention. Very focused, in a focused way. ठीक है? Now these two person have done their work. Hanan and Harun has done their work. That means scan input and sort array has done their work, right? Now display array. Who is display array? Henry is display array. Even before sorting, I want to print the number, which may be unsorted, right? So I am giving this jar to Henry, and I am just asking him to print it for me. So Henry takes this numbers, which is an array, print it inside its function. I see it on the console, and then Henry goes back to his seat. So display array is done. Now I want to search, so I will just read a search key. See, when I'm using scanf function, I am using the ampersand, right? Because I am reading. In printf, I never use ampersand, right? So search key is the name of the variable. Prefix with ampersand means I am providing the address of this container so that the value could be read and put inside the container. Got it? Then I am calling Aman, who is binary search. I am passing it with the original array, which is number, right? Now it is sorted also. Sorted or not? Sorted. And then I am also passing the search key, one of those numbers, or maybe any number which is not in the list as well. Then in that case, I will get a index position, something which is say -1, which indicates the element is not found, right? Now, once the binary search is done, right, I will my numbers array will be searched, and the search key will be found. And this function, binary search, what does binary search function returns? Just look at the binary search function and tell me what does binary search function returns for me. See, binary search is here. It is getting an array. Initially, it was named by numbers. Here we are referring it by the name ARR. Initially, the key to be searched was search key. Here we are referring it by the name key, and that these names are local to this method only, this function only. Okay? Beyond it, it is not recognized with these names. Beyond it, in the main function, it is recognized by the numbers and search key, right? Then I am dividing left position as 0 of the array, the first index position. The right position as array size -1, because why? Because array size is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the last index we need to search for. Then the mid. We always, in the binary search, as we know the algorithm, we always divide the array to the mid value, because the array is also sorted. We check if that value we are looking for. If it is mid, we say we found it. If it is not mid, then we look for the left and the right side. If it is greater than the left side, we say it's in the right side. If it is less than the right side, we say it's in the left side. We discard half of the portion. We have already seen that algorithm very well. Okay? If you forget, just go through the previous recordings. Okay? Then while left is right, that means left is 0 and right is 4. I will keep on increasing left, right, or right, depending on what half portion of the array I am picking. When this condition is true, while this condition is true, that means I have not done the complete search. I will keep on getting the mid value, which is left plus right by 2, right? If array of mid, that means the element which is at the mid index position, is equal to key, I will return mid. I am not returning the key. I already have the key to be searched. I am returning the index position where it is located, right? So what I am returning is index position mid, right? Correct? If it is found. Otherwise, if key is less than array of mid, that is on the, it's on the left hand side, right? So left hand side index will remain 0. Right hand side index will become mid minus 1, right? This is my array. This is left, this is right, this is mid. If the element I am searching is less than mid, that means it's already sorted, it's in this size. So I will start searching from this to 1 before mid, that is mid minus 0, right? So mid minus 1, sorry, mid minus 1. Right is equal to, right becomes mid minus 1. Left remains 0. Else, if it is greater than, key is not less than means greater than ARR of mid, because it cannot also equal to be mid. If it would have been equal to mid, I would have already written it, right? So here it only makes sense that it is greater than ARR of mid. In that case, left will become the next element on the right hand side of the mid. So mid plus 1. And the right will remain array size minus 1. Okay? And if we are not able to find anywhere, that means the mid element equal to the key, this condition doesn't satisfy it, we are going to return minus 1. So if we get minus 1 in the main function, we know that we are not able to search that element in the array. That array does not contain the key search or the search element. Okay? Got the idea? So let's come back to our call. Binary search, whatever the index position it is returning, either it will, I will get the index position or I will get minus 1. Okay? So index position always start from 0 to max size minus 1. If I get before 0, that is minus 1, that means I am not able to, index position has not moved at all. So I am not able to find it. Okay? So result, I am going to print the result. If index is not equal to minus 1, if this condition is true, that means index position is either 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, any of the values, right? In that condition, I will say printf found at index this. Found what? Found search key. See the comma. It should be in the same line to make it more easier for you. इसको मैं थोड़ा इधर कर दे रहा हूँ. अब देखो. अगर थोड़ा सा मैं इसका साइज छोटा कर दूं तो आपके लिए आसानी होगी एक लाइन में देखना. लेट मी जस्ट मेक इट 40. Okay. Now, if index is not equal to minus 1, okay, that means index must be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, any of these, right? Then printf first placeholder of percentage %d is replaced by what? Search key. Say the element 10 I am searching. So 10 found at index percentage %d. Index. Say at the third position. So third position index will be 2. 2, right? Third element means index 2. So it will say 10 found at index 2 position, index plus 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. Got it? Else, else means index is equal to minus 1 indeed. That means we have not been able to find the element in the array. The element is not present in the array. I will say search key %d will be replaced by search key not in array or not present in array, whatever message you want to write. Got the idea? So this whole program is done, and then finally you print done scanned percentage element using binary search. Okay, for this array size, return 0, right, for the main function. Everything is done. What we have not discussed yet is this sorting algorithm, the sort array function. I just told that you assume that an array is passed to it, and when this is done, this array will contain the sorted elements. In the next class, we will look at this sort array. Okay, guys? Okay? I will try to upload the previous as well as this lecture today itself, so that tomorrow there is a holiday. You can go through it and you can come prepared. Okay?